gangs and how they affect the life of teenagers.
Yeah, so there's a good few reference points to that subject. There's the opening scene to Romeo and Juliet and the death of Mercutio and Tybalt. So really the big effects of those things is in the beginning of the story, it kind of shows the intro of what we are looking at, which is two gangs that hate each other viciously and they want both of them dead. They want each other dead. And that kind of sets a perspective for the entire story. And then later on, I think it's around Act 3 or 4, I'm not sure, but there's a it's the death of Mercutio and Tybalt. So Tybalt kills Mercutio, then Romeo takes a knife out of Mercutio and kills Tybalt. And then Romeo ends up getting exiled from the city, where he lives. And the reason why this is pretty important is because it's both gangs lost a very important member to them, and it's that's a big effect to them. And then Romeo just completely gets exiled from life. That's a really big cause and effect of how gang violence can change your entire life, you know?
Yeah. And that really helps carry into the effects that in our the present times, the inclusion of being in a gang, and the effects of it, being exposed to drugs and alcohol that usually come with being in gangs, being exposed to just the violence of just being in a gang, and also what comes with it after school, with not being able to get jobs or being stuck in prison for the rest of your life.
Yeah, and aside from just depression among those gang members, a lot of psychosis come along with it, such as anxiety, drug abuse, alcohol abuse, antisocial personality disorders, even attempted suicide. This even shows in Romeo and Juliet between Romeo's friend Mercutio, who's always very sexual and down about himself and never positive. That just shows that the gang violence that he's been in has affected him mentally.
Yeah, and the outcome of gang violence can also result in, what he said, mental health problems. Adding on to that, it can add on very horrible mental health problems. Teens who are involved within gangs often experience schizophrenia from their past experiences, PTSD and all that kind of stuff, basically traumatizing them from what they've seen, what they've heard, oftenly ruining their adulthood, putting them in a bad place, not being able to get where you want because you've had that reputation of being in a gang or being around gang violence. Basically just seeing people that you knew within the gang violence, they can die. You can see, being in a gang or within gangs, you see people die, and that has a huge impact upon a teenager, oftenly just traumatizing them and not being able to fully function as an adult and just overall being corrupted.